What's going on, Baseline family? It's Jonathan Rears here, your host with Neats on Aaron. And we got a great episode on your way with Max Heidegger.
Hey, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Recently acquired by Bnei Herzliya, a couple months now into the season. We're very excited to get into this. We're going to start this episode a little different today.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with a
Trying
little
something
cool
new.
segment.
All right.
Just try and spice it up for the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
We're calling it Starting Five. Every week it's going to be a different starting five,
Okay.
different type of category and whatnot. But today we're going to start with the most basic, the most relevant. Let's go through your starting five Israeli players in the league. So
They can be imports, by the way. They can be
Oh,
imports.
they can be imports?
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's tough. I mean, number one's probably at the one's got to be Micic, right? I
Sure.
think that's
Yeah.
just, it's almost impossible
I'm
not
not
to
sure
have
if
him
he quite counts because he doesn't really play in any of the Israeli games.
there. Okay, so we're saying plays in Israeli league.
Plays in Israeli games.
Okay. Yeah, maybe then you don't include him. Man, that's tough for
There's
me.
a lot of good ones here.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's close, but just because I've played against him a lot of times in the past, and I really like the way he plays, especially offensively, sharing the ball and everything. I think probably who's playing now, with Blatt being out. With Madara being out, Micic not playing as much. I think it would probably be Tamir right now at the one. I think he's playing at a high level. He's been playing well in the early games. I think as a one, he's perfect. Man, at the two, I think it's like between Walker and Blakeney. I think I go with Blakeney just because
Blakeney's tough.
yeah, he's just the way with him scoring, especially you have Blatt to pass and facilitate.
His just like sense of knowing where he's at with the 3-point line, like he just sneaks his foot under. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean you watch him too, like the elevation on his shots, everything. It's like
Gets up.
He's just a professional bucket getter.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys where it's I don't know him like that, but I feel like he feels like he missed the shot rather than the guy got to stop, and it honestly looks like that sometimes. When you're watching the games, so I'd probably put him there at the two. Man, I think at the five, I've known him for a while. I think I'd probably go Dan.
Oturu.
Yeah.
So basically just a
I love
Paul
Dan.
Tel Aviv.
I mean,
starting
what are you gonna
five.
say? It's gonna be Hapoel and Maccabi basically combined. They have two. I mean, it was tough also with Harper. Obviously, he was the Euro
Right.
Cup MVP as well. I just think especially the money that Hapoel spent this year. The roster they put together. It's hard to find guys that would even in the Israeli league is local guys, foreign guys who get into that team. That's why it's so competitive, like even within the team. Same thing with Maccabi. They have great guys, Roman, Horde, Walker,
Right.
Tamir, all these great players on both teams. So
So who are we going with the 3 and 4?
yeah, those are super tough. I really like Elijah Bryant. Like he's always so consistent, steady. Like
You're calling him a 3?
I mean, he's a 2-3 in my opinion. Like,
Okay.
I mean, they'd be interchangeable. I don't know. It's tough. I forgot about him. That's why I'm like mentioning it now between like him and Blakeney. But
And then at the 4,
man, I'll probably go Roman.
Roman at the 4.
Roman at the 4.
Okay.
I like that.
I
I
like
like
he
that.
can-
a
step
Tel
out and
Aviv
shoot.
starting 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think no disrespect to anybody else, but I think outside of probably Jared and some of the guys from Jerusalem as well, because they have really good players. I just think talent wise, which with what everybody's done in their careers, from 1 through 5 on those teams, and deeper down into the bench, I think it's hard to not pick guys from those 3 teams.
It's also EuroLeague versus Champions League or nothing.
Yeah,
Also.
exactly. Yeah.
So no explanations. Just list the starting 5 real quick.
It was Blatt, because no Micic, Blakeney. It was Elijah, Roman, and Dan Oturu.
It's a
Like
solid
it. That's a
starting
solid
5.
one.
Yeah.
So that's how we're going to get into it from now on.
Good
Okay.
start. Good
Yeah.
start.
thank you for being our intro to that.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings though, so nobody reach out to me if they hear about it.
Start the podcast and maybe start getting DMs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So usually how we start the podcast in general is we go back to when you first really loved basketball, but let's go through your career first.
Mm-hmm.
So Nitzan, if you
So
want.
let's start off with you going D1 at UC Santa Barbara, playing 4 years there.
Yeah.
Went on and signed with Maccabi Tel Aviv, then Bnei Herzliya, then Germany, Turkey, Spain, the Windy City Bulls in the G League, over to Italy, back to Turkey, and now back at Bnei Herzliya.
Yeah, it's been it's kind of been a weird road, honestly. Even going back to high school, I had broken my back, had a ton of injuries. We could get into that later, but I mean, I've kind of been all over the place. I even, I didn't play any games, so I got injured, but I went everywhere. I went China. I went everywhere and kind of did everything I, for the most part, wanted to do in playing basketball. And then, fortunately, hadn't been back to Israel in a few years, and I'm happy to be back here. Just the lifestyle and obviously being in school here. I'm really grateful for the opportunity, so I'm glad to finally be back. But yeah, it's been a weird road. I've been in a lot of teams in my short career, I'd say, quote unquote. But yeah, it's been fun, and maybe I'll play a little longer.
Yes, sir. So it's amazing, and you really honed in on what we kind of brought this podcast for, is that basketball just can take you all over the world, and you really meet so many different people. You'll play with a guy in Germany and you end up playing in the same league in Israel.
Yeah.
So that's really what we're trying to talk about with players, is their journey, and we're going to get into all of it. We're going to listen to it. I know everyone's excited to hear it.
Yeah.
So like I said, we usually go back and start with what really came that love for basketball for you.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously growing up, as a Jewish kid in LA, I wouldn't say basketball is really, in my blood. My dad was actually a professional athlete. He was a skier. So he brought me up playing soccer and skiing, and so basketball was kind of never on the radar for him. My mother never played basketball, nobody in her family. But growing up in LA, Kobe Bryant was, and the Lakers were the biggest show in town at the time. And actually, my best friend to this day, he started playing basketball, and I would ask him what are you doing? Why are you playing that? And then basically just because we were best friends and I wanted to hang out with him more, I started playing basketball. And then as I started to watch Kobe and the Lakers and all that, I gradually fell in love with it, and then kind of been playing ever since. So that was kind of the origin story. But I think without my best friend, there's no way I would have ever played basketball. I would have skied and played soccer until, maybe I should have played soccer or something. That might fit better for my body type. But, I fell in love with basketball and have been playing ever since.
I think you're doing just fine at basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. But
going back, you always see, as you said, your best friend kind of pushed you towards the basketball. When was there a moment in there where you said, you know what, this is what I want to, the direction I want to go down?
I'd probably say probably 8th grade and 8th, 9th grade. I started, getting a lot better, having, huge games in, middle school, scoring 50, whatever, and stuff like that. And then my freshman year of high school started to pick up some Division I offers and stuff like that. So that was kind of when I was okay, even at the time I was probably 5'7", 5'8" at the time, as a freshman in high school. So that was kind of the moment when I was okay, I mean, I don't know if I'll make the NBA. That's, of course, always everybody's goal. But I was I can at least go D1, play in college, and then, whatever happens after that is, is all good.
I mean, picking up Division I offers as a 5'7", Jewish kid from LA is pretty crazy.
Also, can we talk about how you casually dropped? Yeah, dropping 50 in middle school.
If you guys from LA, when I was growing up, I was always getting buckets, I was really really scoring, especially at that age. I think senior high school to average 30. It was just I was always kind of scoring relatively easily. But yeah, I remember in middle school it was it was pretty easy at that point. That's when I figured, okay, I can at least go to college, and that was always the goal.
Well, going into high school, playing 4 years, already picking up D1 offers from your freshman year, what was the main goal, and also what were you working towards?
Yeah. So I had kind of a, like I mentioned it earlier, but I had kind of a weird like high school experience. Like I picked up a lot of offers early. I had like Virginia, Washington, like as a freshman or sophomore in high school, and then my sophomore year, I fractured my back in like 5 places, stress fractures, and then so I was out for like almost a year in like a full back brace. So there was like a probability that if I fell on it again, I remember going to the doctor and saying, it was almost the end of my sophomore season in high school. And I remember like going to the doctor and saying, okay, what happens if I just finish the season and then rest after? He's like, oh, if you fall again, like there's a chance you can be paralyzed or something. Like I asked him, what's the worst case scenario? So I was like, okay, like, I'd rather walk than, I love basketball, but not that much, So I was out for over a year, like in a full back brace, like everything. And then I went to prep school back east my junior year for a little bit. I ended up hurting my knee. And then so I came back home. I was still having some knee issues, so I stopped for a while. And then my senior year, like I hadn't played a real game in a few years, and then like in October, it's weird. I started to pick up some offers and stuff like that again, like it's like Santa Barbara, Boston University, some other schools in that caliber, but I wanted to wait. And then right before my senior season, I caught mono, so I was like, Santa Barbara's close to home. It's a good school. I at the time I enjoyed having fun, so I was like, I'll have fun there for sure. It's on the beach. That's really why I made the decision. It wasn't basketball related at all, because I had so many of these injuries. I was thinking about like, okay, where can I be happy in my life and get a good education and stuff like that, because I wasn't really thinking beyond with my back and knees and stuff at the time. So fortunately in college I was able to stay healthy for the most part. I had some injuries here and there like anybody else, but yeah, like in high school, my goals were always to, go to the highest level I could. I wanted to play in, the ACC or SEC, and, it was starting to materialize. And then, kind of all those things happened, and, it led me to where I ended up going. But I'm grateful for it. I love Santa Barbara, and when I'm back home, I go and visit all the time. So I'm grateful it ended up happening that way. But in the moment, I was, kind of bitter about it, I guess.
No, for sure. But you still did go D1 and you were killing at UCSB.
Yeah.
But also going through that injury, I think we've had guys who've broken tibias, fibia, all that stuff. But like breaking your back is pretty serious. Mm-hmm. So the recovery and the PT and all that, did that kind of trigger like a professional mindset in a way?
I think for a while it actually probably had the opposite effect, because before I was like so like I eat, breathe, and sleep basketball before that, and kind of after that, yeah, I had to be professional about it, like try to eat right, because I literally couldn't do anything. Like it's not like you break your arm and you can still bike or run or whatever. I could literally do nothing. So I had to, do rehab, all this stuff, but it kind of made me realize, okay, like basketball isn't everything, because I got it taken away from me. I almost, worst case scenario could have had something far worse. So it kind of had the opposite effect for a while. And I think I was like personally, I was like mad at the game for a while, because I, had wanted X, Y, and Z for myself. And I don't think at the time I was like mature enough to, as a 16-year-old kid, be mature enough to be like, okay, I have to lock in and like, take this seriously and take my diet and everything seriously. It kind of made me, because I was upset, do the opposite for a little while. And then in college, I kind of reined it back in. But yeah, so to answer your question, I think it had the opposite effect actually for a little while.
Yeah, and you do go to UCSB, and in your first year, you do end up playing 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The second year, that goes up to 30 plus, and that was the rest of your career. And in your second year, you dropped 19 a game. So you really did end up feeling comfortable there. Mm-hmm. Walk us through that experience.
Yeah, so actually, I think it it probably, prepared me to be a professional a lot. after my first year, I was playing, but like we kind of struggled a little bit as a team. I had a lot of ups and downs personally, but I was playing a lot, and then we switched coaches, and the new coach that came in kind of instilled that with myself and a lot of the other guys who were there, kind of this like strict curriculum, I'd say, for basketball, for school, for everything. Like he really tightened the reins and had me on like a regimented schedule that is something that helps me a lot, like with whatever I'm doing. So the second year, that's why I think my minutes and stats and everything jumped so much. And then kind of from there, me and him had a good relationship and trust and stuff like that. So, from there we had a great working relationship, and yeah, but that was the biggest thing, was me kind of regimenting my life. And it's hard as a first year college student. It's the first time on your own. Sometimes the level's a lot higher, the physicality and stuff like that I don't know if I was ready for, but I was grateful to go there and kind of this is why I say in hindsight now it's the best decision ever. But like if I go that first year and I'm not physically mature enough at a big school, maybe I end up somewhere else and it hurts my confidence or something like that. Like I was able to take some bumps and bruises along the way, even though I was playing, and then, slowly develop. And then, I'm grateful for that I went to a quote unquote like smaller Division I school, where I was able to develop and make mistakes and stuff like that, where it's, not as cutthroat, I guess.
A lot of times we see, especially pre-NIL era, as you were in the game, someone dropping 19 a game on 40% three-point shooting in their sophomore year, they're either looking to transfer up or they're looking to go pro. What kind of kept you loyal and wanting to stay at UC?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like there was a time, because the next year I had some like concussion issues, and so me and the coach weren't seeing eye to eye. I thought about transferring. I mean, there was at the time after my sophomore year, there were like agents and stuff saying that I had potential to leave, either go to Europe with my citizenship, or try to test the waters and stuff like that. I just think for me, my coach at the time, like Coach Pasternak, me and him had a really good relationship. I don't think I was ready to make the leap to professional basketball at all, and I think even pre-NIL, but especially now post with the kids now, if you're not going to be a first round pick or at least early second round pick where they really value, like there's kind of no point to leave early, just because even if you get drafted late second round now, it might be like a two-way and you don't know how long that's going to last. You get hurt or something, and then now you're just in the G and just trying to figure it out like everybody else, when you could still be in college developing and they're taking care of you. So I think my trust and my relationship with my coach was kind of the main reason I stayed, and I ended up loving the community, all the people that I met. So I think that was a huge part of it. But I'm grateful I stayed, because if I left, I don't, more as a person, I don't know exactly what that would have looked like. And I needed some consistency in my life as well.
So you play a super solid 4 years at UC Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. So then you start looking to go pro. Walk us through we see so many of the players that we talk about, they had an agent come out to them, reach out to them about going overseas, looking NBA, looking G League. Talk us through your wanting to go pro stage of life.
Yeah. So actually, funny enough, my last game as in college, I graduated during COVID. So my last year was impacted by COVID, but I got hurt. I had like sprained my ankle really, really bad the last game that I played in.
Wow.
And so I didn't, especially with COVID, I didn't know I couldn't like rehab because everything's shut down for the most part.
There were no more games after that?
No, there was like two games after. I think it was like 2 conference games, and then it was supposed to be like our conference tournament, but I was already done.
Canceled,
like my ankle was ballooned even before I knew it was canceled, but then everything got canceled. So now I was like,
oh, I was saying it's funny because like you got hurt, you're like, shit, I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah,
no one was there.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I mean, I hate to say it's like, oh, whatever, but no, I mean, of course we had a good chance to go, but yeah, for me it was over either way, so it wasn't, yeah, so I had like known my agents now that I've been working with for, since I started my career. I'd known them for a while, because they would, a lot of their pro guys would go to this place in Santa Barbara called P3, like a lot of, high-level NBA guys. They would do all their pre-draft there, so I'd known them for a number of years, me being at Santa Barbara. Just, their guys would work out at our school and stuff like that. So I'd known them for a long time, and like kind of when the COVID stuff started to die down a little bit. I mean, it didn't die down, but when people realized that, okay, we're gonna start to play games and things like that are gonna happen. I wouldn't have any workouts or anything because of COVID, so all that was canceled. No summer league if I would have gotten it because of COVID. So it was really, they didn't know if they were going to do a G League season, so like my main option was to come overseas, and so I trusted them, and then obviously my first year I ended up coming here to Israel.
Well, your agent made it happen in a elite way. Like you got not any team in Israel, Maccabi Tel Aviv, right?
Yeah.
And you go there and you sign with them, but there's 2 games, didn't really play. What kind of happened there?
I mean, I didn't probably realize it at the time. It's because you're going like each step up. You're doing like the leading scorer, the best player, right? So I'm not thinking I'm coming to Maccabi and doing that, but I was probably like too immature. Here in Europe, they value a lot like like experience. Being able to like know the game. I also didn't know how to play like European basketball at all. And like, in the moment, obviously I wanted to play, and that's why, we both agreed that I should go to somewhere else. And that was like when I was loaned to Herzliya. But I don't like blame the coach at all, because at that point in time, I don't think I was ready or even close to it, So I was talented and always was, but like, yeah, just knowing the game, defensive principles, like how important each game is in Europe. Like it's not like that in the U.S. Like you lose a game or something in the U.S. It's like, all right, whatever. Not whatever, but it's like, all right, like let's see what we did wrong and go to the next thing. Like especially in a place like Maccabi Tel Aviv where you're expected to win. Every possession, every game, everything. Like I just didn't understand that perspective, I don't think, at the time. But like even still to this day, I'm grateful to Avi and everybody who brought me in, and they're all like great people. I have nothing bad to say about them at all. Like they're great. I just wasn't ready at the time, but I was super grateful for the experience. I learned kind of the beginning of like how to be a professional in Europe and what it takes at like the EuroLeague level. So yeah.
What is the main difference you found in the basketball coming from high-level D1 to immediately signing with top-level European team like Maccabi Tel Aviv?
It's a lot of things. Like obviously the physicality is one. Like it's actual grown men for the most part. Everybody. The big thing was like the attention to detail. Just everybody has to play their role. Like what we have to know what we're looking for on this play, defensively what we're doing here. And one mess up and it's like you're in my position where it's like you're barely a fringe guy at that point. Like you're coming straight out, so it's like they know what they want to do on each play. Like this guy does this, it's like clockwork, it's like a machine. It's less like
it's knowing your cuts and all this stuff.
Exactly. Like if they pass the short roll, that corner guy's cutting every single time.
Being a rookie out of college is pretty crazy to go straight to Maccabi.
Yeah.
One of the top teams in the EuroLeague as well.
Yeah.
At the time too. Mm-hmm. But you do go to Herzliya and you just kill, right?
Yeah.
You got 28 minutes a game, averaging 18 points a game.
Yeah.
So what kind of made you feel comfortable in Herzliya?
I mean, I just, one part was like I felt like I had something to prove, like both to myself and, people here, just because they're, which, as I said, rightfully so, like I didn't get that much of an opportunity in my opinion. So I was just trying to like play my game and be happy. And fortunately, I think at the time it was four foreigners or something like that. So there was a lot more leeway, and I came out of the gates and was playing well and helping the team win and survive and stuff like that. So I just kind of kept that momentum going throughout the season, and it was just like, I'm over the years improved a lot and learned a lot of stuff, but then it was just like I was only focused on like getting buckets and trying to like just get buckets, I guess is the way of putting it in that time.
Taking a little step back to Maccabi, back to when you landed off that plane, you leave America 5,000 miles away, right?
Yeah.
It's like a whole new life now, right? And you're coming overseas, and the overseas game is great. but there's a lot of challenges that come with that. So getting off the plane, getting introduced by Maccabi, and also this is COVID time. You probably had to like do some quarantine bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Dan Panorama Hotel, 10 days. You know?
Yeah,
so
just
kind of
sitting
like
there.
even having to be in quarantine alone, you know, starting that overseas path, what kind of kept you like sane, I guess, at the time?
That's a great question. I don't even know. Just watching movies, I guess. Like there's literally at the time. I mean, we all went through the pandemic, but especially being here, like I couldn't even go out for meals. I remember at the time, like they had to deliver my meals to the hotel room and stuff, and it was just like so lonely. And it's, you know, playing basketball overseas, unless you've been in one place for a while or you know people in the area or have family there or whatever, it can be like a very lonely experience. So
Did it make you question coming here at all?
Of course, like sometimes when I was here and, you know, I'm just sitting in the hotel room to start or my apartment or whatever it was, you know, being alone the entire day, especially in the beginning when I'm not playing at all, or, you know, things aren't going well. Like at a certain point I was just, I had it in my head for sure. Like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I here? Like, you know, especially it was COVID, but you know, I hadn't spent much time in Israel at that point in my life, so I was like, you know, I didn't know if, you know, with the safety situation, just because I hadn't been here and I didn't, you know what was going on exactly, and wasn't too well versed in, you know, Israeli defense and politics and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I'm here. I'm not even playing. Like stuff could happen at any time. Yeah, that obviously went through my head, but I was also kind of just like, you know, I'm here. I might as well try and make the most of it, both as like a, you know, a player and as a person. So I think that was kind of the biggest thing, was just like, you know, being able to see some light at the end of the tunnel at some point, that I know that in order to even have a chance to get what I want at the end of the day, I'll have to, you know, do this and kind of eat it for a while. You know what I mean?
Right. But you did play at a high level too, but it's funny that you say that was in your head about the Israeli defense stuff. You were here that spring when there was that missile.
Yeah.
And there was like thousands of missiles coming in. So like, how hard was that for you? Especially saying that you were thinking about it before.
Yeah. It was interesting because like my friends and family were a lot more concerned than I was, at least especially being, you know, here in Herzliya. But I mean, to say that, you know, hearing sirens and having to go into a bomb shelter and not seeing, but, you know, hearing missiles, you know, hit each other was like wasn't the best experience in the world, but, and it wasn't something that I would, you know, want to do again, or no one here wants that, you know, nobody here anywhere wants that. But, I was a lot calmer, I think, than the stuff that started to freak me out was my family, my friends, and I guess the thing that I was most scared of at the time was that, you know, the airports would close or any transportation, and, you know, now like there's nowhere to go if something, you know, did escalate. But thankfully, you know, a lot of Israelis, like, you know, kind of calmed me down and, you know, let me know that these are, you know, kind of common occurrences, and for the most part we're going to be okay, and obviously that ended up being the case. But it definitely wasn't easy at first.
You faced a really tough time here, as you've said, but then you decide to go over to Germany after facing such adversity here. Can you walk us through what that process was like?
Yeah, so after the season ended, you know, I was still technically under contract with Maccabi, and you know, I wanted to go somewhere, and my biggest thing was I wanted to go somewhere and play as a foreigner, because I wanted to go to, you know,
You're saying that the
levels
Maccabi contract was a 2-year contract?
It was a 3-year
contract
originally, yeah. And so obviously anything.
But technically, you would be with Herzliya or Maccabi if you came back to Israel that season.
I mean, if I came back to Israel, I wasn't sure. We didn't really like talk about that. That wasn't like a huge conversation that we had. Okay. Because I wanted to, you know, play a lot and whatever, and that wasn't what it was going to look like for me at Maccabi, obviously at the time. So yeah, we just kind of talked to them, and they said, okay, for the most part, like go where you want to go, especially if it's outside of Israel.
Does that mean they terminate the contract? Like, what kind
It's
of goes
just
into that?
It's just a loan. Like, so it's same as like in football. Like, I'm still technically like, you know, if any team were to want my rights or want to buy me out or, you know, whatever.
So you go to Germany loaned out by Maccabi.
Loaned out by Maccabi,
Okay.
yeah. So Germany's like, the team in Germany is paying my salary and yada yada yada, and taking care of me. But like, I'm still I technically belong to, my rights belong to Maccabi.
Right.
So
Okay.
you know, if I, you know, we have the best season ever, and you know, some EuroLeague team wants to buy me out, they have to approach Maccabi versus
Right.
you know, Oldenburger. I'm not totally free after the season ends, or if you know. Yeah, so
But you
so
do
on my
go
rights.
to Germany, and you say if you were to have, you had a great season.
Yeah,
you know?
Killed it.
Yeah, it was a good year for sure.
So what was it like on and off the court as well in Germany?
It was difficult for sure. Like, you know, and the hardest part for me, one of them was the weather. Like, it's raining every day. It's gray almost every day. You know, I'm from LA. I went to Santa Barbara. Like, I lived in Israel my first year, so just like, I didn't realize how much it would affect my mood every day. Like, it being cold, rainy, gloomy. Like, after a while, it was like it took a toll on like me mentally sometimes. But it was great for me to like get the feeling of like pressure as a foreigner, because it's a different pressure, you know, knowing that like if you don't perform, like they can and will cut you. You know what I mean? So it was great to start off. Thankfully, you know, we had a coach that, especially the second half of the year, put a lot of like trust into me. They let me play a lot more of the one and start to, you know.
Yeah, I noticed you mostly, before that you were averaging around 2 assists.
Yeah.
Here it goes up to almost 5.
Yeah.
So you say you're being more of a point guard, but also a scoring point guard.
Yeah.
So what kind of went into that? And also, while you answer that, you had a great teammate there who's here, Ty Odiasi.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about that too.
Yeah, no, Ty's an awesome guy. Obviously, a great player, great athlete. Also, yeah, yoked
Yoked out of his mind.
I mean, if you saw him in the weight room, like he's in there all the time when I played with him, and it's honestly insane. Like watching him jump and stuff like that I remember it was wild. But it's funny, we had a ton of talent on that team. Like with Phil Pressey, if you remember him, Ty. Seba, he plays in Paris now. Like we had a lot of good players, but we started off the season like pretty poorly, and then we had switched coaches and started like, because we had to play fast with the roster we had, and then once we started playing fast, like we played amazing, and I got moved more to the one, and yeah, it was like kind of huge for my career, because I was talking with our second coach, and he was like, for you to go where you want to get to, you have to be like you know, I'm always going to be a more scoring-minded player. You know, it's like a huge part of my game, but I have to be able to create for others and stuff like that as well, and be more of like kind of a complete offensive player. So him giving me an opportunity was awesome, and yeah, I kind of ran with it after that.
So you go from Germany over to Turkey and then Spain, G League. So you start kind of bouncing around a little bit, going to all these different countries. What was that like, really taking on that journeyman role?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like exactly planned. So actually, to answer that, to go backwards a second, like the first year I played summer league with Atlanta, they actually wanted me to stay. But I was under contract. They wanted me to stay and finish out summer league, and
so
then
you go to summer league after Germany?
after Israel.
Oh, after the first
year.
year.
The first year, yeah.
So you go to Atlanta summer league. They want to sign you,
like to at least to like training
a
camp
10-day or something.
Like an E10?
like an E10 or keep me around or whatever.
and
We were
Maccabi
talking
kind
about
of.
it. No, it was just like they were asking me what was going on, and then like my team in Germany, because I'd already signed, was like no, basically, and then they weren't going to pay any type of anything for that, which obviously, and so I went, ended up having a good year. They brought me back for summer league the second year with Atlanta again, and like in the summer, I had told my agent at the time, like, I don't want to, because me and Maccabi had like terminated at that point. I was like, I don't want to hear from like anything about Europe, any European teams. Like I don't want to do that right now. Like I just want to focus on summer league, see how it goes, and then maybe I'll stay and do whatever. And then I ended up getting hurt like 2 days before summer league, and so I was like, all right. And then it was kind of late. It was like probably early to like middle of August, and some teams wanted to like sign me as a 2, or like they said you'll play the combo, like and stuff like that. And I was like, for my career, that's not gonna be it. So I found the team in Turkey, and I told them I only want to play the 1. Like that's it for like me to go where I want to get to in my career. Ended up playing there. Like started off, great, and yeah, I was fortunate enough to get bought out and go to Baskonia. But
you killed in Turkey, and you're 20 points now. You're even going higher in the assists.
Yeah.
The more you create for yourself, the more you'll create for others.
Yeah.
It's just basketball. And then, as a Jewish player going to Turkey, was there any adversity there?
The first time, no, not really. The second time when I went, this is before I took a
This is post
hiatus.
October 7th.
Yeah. I remember a Turkish friend of mine sent it to me, like one of the like bigger newspapers in Turkey or whatever it was. I don't remember the name, but it was like basically, why is Turk Telecom signing like an Israeli, like yada yada yada. I didn't really put too much thought into it at the time, but of course it's like not something that, given everything that was going on geopolitically with Israel and Turkey, like that's not the thing that I probably wanted to hear in that moment. But I mean, I only had personally good experiences with the people, but I know that it can be like super dangerous there for Israelis, for Jewish people, especially if they know. So I wouldn't, I would never have my Israeli passport there, of course, and and things like that, and try to, I don't want to say like not lean into that part of my identity, but like I kind of, I
it
tried.
makes sense. But you were about to say you got bought out by Baskonia. So what was that like?
I got out by Baskonia. At the time, I was super excited just because like, it was a like kind of a vindication, and like you said, like kind of this like journey I was going kind of all over the place, kind of like a vindication of that work, especially the first time I was in a EuroLeague club. Like it was not like maybe I shouldn't have been there at the time or something, but it was like a vindication of work and stuff like that, and yeah, I was excited to go, and it was also a great experience. Great guys there.
Yeah, you played with one of the best point guards in the EuroLeague, we would say.
Yeah,
Marcus Howard.
Yeah.
Oh, killer.
Yeah, Marcus gets buckets for sure. It's it's fun to watch him. He's also an amazing guy. Like just
what'd you learn from
off
him?
the court? I mean, he's like, I'd say he's pretty similar to like Elijah Bryant, and just the way that like how they approach, every day, every game, like super hard working dudes. Obviously their games are completely different, but, just like seeing his kind of confidence, self-belief, like, the guy will miss, he won't miss that many, but like he can miss 10 shots in a row, he'll shoot the next 10. You know what I'm saying? Like it's at least for myself, and I know a lot of other people, when you're missing like that, the self-doubt or whatever like starts to creep in a little bit, especially it's just not my day, whatever. With him, it's just like he's open, the next one's going straight up, and there's no conscience.
A big part of the game is the mental aspect.
For sure. And honestly, he's a great guy. He approaches the game the right way. Good guy to be around. Like I really respect him, and I'm happy to see he's done what he's done, or continue to do what he did. But yeah, great guy.
As you talked about a little bit before, you decide you want to transition over to the 1.
Mm-hmm.
You're ahead at the time. You see now in the NBA, like Cam Thomas, 6'3" guys who only get buckets. They're not really getting paid, not getting the opportunities. Yeah. What went into you, the forethought of saying, I want to become a 1?
Yeah, I just knew both kind of offensively and defensively, me at the 2 would be just a disadvantage. Just because with my size, like, I'm no shoes, if we're being completely honest. I'm 6'1.5", and at the time I'm maybe 185, 190 pounds.
Jerusalem would put you at a 3.
Yeah. I mean, if for I'll do whatever a team tells me, right? If I have to play the 4 or the 5, I'll do it.
It's crazy. I saw they had like the other night Roy Huber, Jared Harper, and Cassius Winston.
Yeah.
All on the court at the same time.
6'1".
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like that sometimes where you have to like just adjust to the game or the hand you're dealt. I just knew for me to consistently just be seen as like a guy who only scores, like my ceiling was limited. It was a lot more limited than it would have been.
Definitely.
Just seeing like what you're saying, like with the way the NBA was going, the way EuroLeague has been going, the way, everything's going. They're going to more positionless basketball with bigger lineups where they can switch. Everybody can handle, but there's usually one or two ball handler creators, and then you have 6'7", 6'9", 6'11", these guys who are playing 3 through 5.
What was it? Where's Thompson? The Rockets. They're shortest guy in their starting five is 6'9".
Ben Thompson is the shortest. He's 6'7". He's the shortest guy in their lineup.
No, listen, obviously it's hard when we're mentioning Cam Thomas, but when he's not that bad of a defender, but who's he guarding on that? And then they can just switch everybody at all times and just force tough shots and get in rotation. So makes basketball a lot easier that way. So for me, I just thought, looking at the game, I was like, if I don't do this, especially because I don't have the longest arms or anything, I can't become an elite shot blocker. Maybe with more effort, I could become probably a better defender, but that wasn't really the path that I had seen for myself, becoming some elite defender. So I was like, I got to learn to create for other people, not just myself, in order to have a chance to get where I want to get to.
So after Baskonia, you head over to the Windy City Bulls. You talked about earlier how when you were playing with Atlanta in the summer league, you didn't want to hear from European teams anymore. You really wanted to just kind of lock into, maybe an E10 or something like that.
Is there in between Baskonia and Windy City, is there another summer league stint?
No, I did training camp and preseason with Chicago with the main team.
Okay.
I played 2 preseason games with them, and then I played obviously summer league and mini camp and everything with the main roster. And then obviously I gotten cut, and then I wanted to leave again, but I decided to until I got exactly what I wanted. Kind of I played a few games in the G, and until I figured it out. But yeah, I in that summer kind of similarly, I was choosing between obviously the money discrepancy is huge between a E10 and me going to China in the summer at the time, which was where I was going to sign, and or back in Turkey or something like that. And for me personally, I just wanted the opportunity so I could, with the training camp and preseason, because it was a unguaranteed. If I'm on the roster opening day, it's a lot of money, but I wanted that opportunity for myself to say okay, I at least opened every door I could, because if I didn't, I feel like maybe down the line I would have regretted it. So yeah, I did it. Maybe in hindsight, I should have just gone and taken the money, the easier paycheck. But yeah, so I did that, and then yeah, it was a solid experience. I enjoyed it, but yeah.
From Windy City, you go to Italy.
Yeah, so that was the year I actually had signed I'd agreed in China, and then there was some issues, and I had a injury, and then I ended up going to Venice.
China.
Yeah, China's goated.
Wait, but you go from Spain, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, well, let's go
From
back to
Windy City.
Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
averaging 20. You go to Baskonia, which is bigger team, higher level, so you're going to average less because less time, but you're still playing very well.
Yeah.
And then Windy City, play well.
Yeah.
China had the stint.
Yeah.
And then go to Italy and gets a little shaky. So what happens there?
Yeah, I mean, actually Venice, the same team, they called me in the summer, and they had wanted me really bad. They have a really good budget there and stuff like that. And I had said no at the time, so I told them I was either at that moment in time gonna do China or gonna try with this training camp stuff. So they had kind of told me I'll explain later, there's parts that are my fault, but they had told me one thing, that I was going to, play the 1 and the 2 and be more of a combo and stuff like that. And I just ended up kind of off the ball. I started off well, playing in Euro Cup, but I mean, that team was stacked. We had so many guys that were former EuroLeague players ended up playing EuroLeague after that.
Rajon Tucker's tough.
Yeah, we had Tuck. I mean, Spisu's like their national team point guard.
Yeah.
Nicolau was our captain. Like Jeff Brooks was playing like 4 minutes a game, and he played EuroLeague for like 5-6 years, something like that. At the time, they were barely playing him. Like we had a ton of talent. I don't know, it just wasn't working in the role. It was not something that I was like really familiar with. So it was kind of like roller coastery. Like in the Euro Cup, I had good games to start, and then like some games I'd play well, other games I'd play like 13, 14 minutes, which is fine. But yeah, it was just like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, I guess, so to speak. But
right, and then the next year you have Turkey, which is 3 games, and then you don't play the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So what kind of went on?
Yeah. So I think part of it was like I was kind of burnt out, just from bouncing around the journeyman stuff, being in a different country or sometimes multiple countries in the same year. And again, this part was partially my fault. Like I was like just exhausted and kind of over it, and then I went there for a coach in Erdem who's like very demanding guy, and we just weren't clicking from pretty much the moment the season started. So we had like agreed to part ways, and then I go home and I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. Like I'm done. And so I was working regular for a while. I was working in real estate, and then I was working in finance with my family, which I still do now. But so I just started working, regular office job, and yeah, I was like, I'm over it. It was large part was like what I felt like was the opportunity cost at that point. Like I didn't know where I could go anymore, if I even really wanted to do it. So I was like, I'm always alone. I'm in different countries all the time. I never get to see my family, my friends. Like at the time I was very unhappy as well. So it kind of just got to that point where I was just like, man, whatever. Like I'm over it. So I took a break, and I was pretty much like content on not playing professionally. At least I'd play once a week in like a synagogue men's league with some friends and stuff like that.
There's some killers in those leagues.
Yeah, there's some good dudes over there. It's Mount Sinai. It's hilarious, but all good dudes. But that was the only hoops I was playing, was like once a week I'd play in a synagogue men's league for like over a year, or around a year probably.
So then you said you're working office jobs, you're kind of done hooping, but now you're back up in Bnei Herzliya. So what went into that?
Yeah, so like when I had said I was done, like teams would still call me and ask me, and for the most part I would say like, no, I'm done, I'm retired. And then Herzliya called me. Obviously, I played for them back in the day. I had a good experience. I really, respect and love the people there. Amit and Eldad, all the, all the front office people. But so they actually called me, and they were like, hey, we know you haven't played, but like, would you be interested in playing? And at first I was like, nah, I'm good. Love you, but I'm good. And then I think a couple days later, I called them back, and I was like, hey, I have like a proposition for you guys. Like if it works out, I'll come for sure. And basically it was me doing my second degree here, because it's right here. I was familiar with Reichman beforehand, and education's super important for me. And like I talked about the opportunity cost before, I didn't exactly have the the years playing basketball to learn as much or get as forward in my career outside of basketball as I had wanted to. So I saw the education component, or getting an MBA, whatever, because I was going to do it in the U.S. as a way to kind of bridge that gap between in the working world, me having not been there for whatever 5-6 years. So I was going to do school either way, and fortunately they said like we can make the scheduling and stuff like that work with practices. Obviously, of course, if we have a game, I'll have to, if I miss school, it's like any other student, obviously, so I have to figure it out. But they were, I'm very grateful to them that they were able to make this work with me going to school and scheduling and stuff like that. So that was kind of the huge decider in terms of me coming back. So yeah, so here I am.
So you're doing a master's
Yeah.
MBA
Yeah.
in business, and you're doing it here at Reichman University.
Yeah. Shout out to
And-
Reichman.
Across the street is your gym,
Yeah.
right? Is it a 1-year degree or 2-year?
It's, I mean, I think with the scheduling stuff, it'll probably be a year and some change I'll have to do, but it's, yeah, I'll be here for at least probably 2 basketball seasons.
So you're back to being a student athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
Just full circle moment, right?
Yeah,
You know?
no, for
It's
sure.
a pro student athlete. I don't know if we've had one of those before.
And it
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
to be working for you too. You're dropping 22 a game so far through.
Hey, I mean, it's funny because now I'm like, you know, especially with the talent we have, the season hasn't started exactly the way we've wanted to or expected,
Right.
or other people have expected of us. But you know, sometimes things happen. You got to push forward and do it. But like just in practice every day, now that I'm like student athlete again, and basketball isn't like
The only
the
thing.
only thing in my life. Like I think that was part of the reason why I was getting so you know, if you have bad games, or like you're saying in Turkey, I wasn't having the games I wanted to, or sometimes
Right.
in Venice it was up and down. So when in basketball is the only thing I have there, I don't have a family there. Like most of the times I didn't have a girlfriend or something with me, so
Yeah.
like I'm alone, so it's only basketball. But like here I have, you know, like I still do some of my work. I'm in school. I'm doing so many different things that like basketball is like becoming a fun outlet for me again,
Right.
to like enjoy myself. And you know, I'll come out of class and start going to practice, and it's like fun again, you know?
Yeah, and it's also like you did your first year here in Israel,
Mhm.
and now you're doing your most recent here right now in
Yeah.
Israel. You have class, you have basketball, but also just like off the court life in Israel. What can you like say that goes into, like, you know, like you said, the basketball season is like 10 months of your year.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have a bad game and then your mind goes crazy. But also when you're in Germany, it's also cold. It's gray out.
Yeah.
So what can you say about just like off the court life here?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but like, it's funny because coming here, I'm almost like every time we are leaving right now for Champions League or whatever, like I'm pissed. You know, like not, of course, I want to go and win the game, and you know, I want everyone to play well and me to play well. But like leaving Israel sucks, like every time, because it's like I love being here, especially Herzliya is like for me the best city in Israel.
Bougie.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. I strongly agree.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just you have everything. I also like kind of being more in the suburbs. Like Tel Aviv's obviously super fun and awesome and has a ton of great qualities, but the traffic, you know, everything. I like kind of a slower life now a little bit. So, I mean, man, the life off the court is so amazing. There's so many amazing people here, like smart people. That's kind of the other reason I enjoy here too. Like you can have a life outside of basketball, like so many people you can meet, you know, like you guys, you know, so many people I've met over the years who are just like amazing people, great at what they do in the professional space or whatever. And, you know, for a country that's as small as Israel is, it's like kind of insane how, you know, in so many different sectors, like how developed it is in such a short period of time, and how cool the people are. So, like I said, every time I leave, I'm like, oh my God, like I wish I could just stay
But then
here.
you get to come back.
Yeah, exactly, and
So
then I'm
that's the good
hyped.
part.
Yeah.
Wait.
As soon as we touch down, I'm always excited.
Also, I was following you on Instagram before the season. You were traveling a bit.
Yeah.
You got all these quotes and all these different. What goes on the Instagram, Max Heidegger?
I mean, man, anybody who like knows me personally knows I just like to enjoy my life and just like troll all the time. So like pretty much anything you'll see me ever post on Instagram is just me trolling. Like it's never serious, or you see me in my normal life, like I'm almost never serious for the most part. But like, man, I love to have fun. Like, and it's like Instagram's one way to do that without, without taking it too far sometimes. But yeah, I just enjoy trolling, honestly.
And how have you kind of seen your role here now this year? You know, I was able to come to a couple of games. You know, you're leading the team. You know, like you said, you want to be a point guard. You have that role. How have you kind of been able to collaborate with your other teammates?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought my coming in, especially this early on, I was hoping is probably the wrong word, but I was thinking my role would be smaller, just because, you know, I'm still getting fully back into shape after, you know, I mean, I love my synagogue men's league, but it's not exactly the same level, you know? So when you're not doing that every day for, you know, I think I left Turk Telecom in October or something like that, and, you know, didn't really start like, you know, getting in basketball shape until the next summer. So it's, you know, nine almost 10 months of nothing for the most part. So I thought it'd be a little smaller, but thankfully, you know, Yehu and Elishai and the guys and, you know, our strength coaches and physios have like helped me out a lot in terms of getting back. But I mean, I just want to try to, you know, help us kind of win in any way I can, especially at this point in my career and with, you know, other things going on in my life. I just want to win and help us in any way. Obviously we haven't started the best, but I, you know, try to keep positive energy, you know, try to be good guy, still try to come in early and do the things I do every day, whether you win 100 games in a row or lose 100 games in a row. Like, it's that consistency is important because, you know, things will never happen unless you have that. So that's kind of the only thing I can say on that, but I'm definitely it's definitely been a toll on the body for sure to do this early on.
No, definitely. I think it's really interesting. We've had other guests before who were Amazon drivers or working for an NBA team in the office, you know, doing their tech stuff on the side and going through different just normal day jobs and then coming back to basketball, you know?
Yeah.
And you figure out a way to kind of come back to basketball, but also get your master's at the same time. So how have you kind of like, it's a hard question, but like going back and forth from realizing that this is what you do as a job, but also you can't do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I think it's like super important for every player to understand, you know, even if it's like, you know, even if you play in the NBA for a bunch of years, like you don't want to just, most people don't want to just sit after, but I knew, you know, even if I made a lot of money playing basketball, like I can't just sit and retire afterwards, and I don't want to either. So, and that's honestly like what you said, that's the main reason I'm back. It's, you have to kind of compartmentalize both, like where, you know, I can't let the basketball side affect the school side, and then I can't let the school side affect the basketball side. So it's like, you know, if I have a bad game, I can't, you know, then bring that into school and be like, well, I played bad, so I'm not going to like study for this test, you know? Or if I, you know, do bad on a test or I'm tired from school, I can't be like, oh, I'm not going to go to practice today because I'm tired from school. You know, it's like you have to be you kind of just have to be an adult and just like grind through it because it's way better than the alternative. Like I said, I've been in office before and it sucks. Like, so being able to play basketball, doing something that I loved as a kid and I'm starting to love again, like, and be able to, you know, study at a school like Reichman is like, it's an honor and I really enjoy it. So it's, but yeah, it's definitely not easy, but you have to, I don't know. It was the perfect situation. That's why I'm here. Like I'm able to merge those things, which almost never happen, especially as, like you said, as a pro. Like only in college can you do that.
Right.
Much.
It's really impressive how much forethought you put into things. Like, you know, whether it was switching from the 2 to the 1 because you knew it was getting phased out, or you knew it was better for your career, and also the balance you now have between school and basketball. Where did the ability to do that so easily come from?
I wouldn't say easily. I mulled over it for probably a long time, but it's definitely like being, you know, Ashkenazi Jew for sure. It's the overthinking all the time. Yeah. It's like, why is this not happening? Like, you know, like, or even, you know, overthinking to the degree of like, you know, like where you get anxious, like where, okay, I had a bad season. No one's ever going to pick me up again. I have to do something else. Like, what else am I going to do? So that's like kind of how it started, like with that, like, which is negative, like mental talk probably. And then now it's like, you know, I'm mostly joking, but now it's flourished into something. But it's always been important to me, like not to make decisions based on like, because I can be emotional sometimes, not how I'm feeling in the moment, you know, having some type of foresight, because any times I made like impulsive decisions, it hasn't gone well. So I had to learn that about myself and not make decisions anymore based on how I'm feeling in the moment, because it's always bad. So
as we wrap up, what's some advice you would give your 12th grade self coming out of high school?
Oh my God. I would probably first like hit myself on the back of the head for sure. I would just tell myself to kind of treat everything with the seriousness of like a job, like not to lose the love of it, and still try to find that love in everywhere you can, but attack everything as seriously as you can, whether it be school, whether it be basketball. Like I was for a long time, so like just whatever, like just I would say to attack all those things, because all the people I've seen really achieve things in basketball or in life that I've started to notice is like they have that same work ethic and consistency all the time. So I would try to instill that in myself as a 12th grader, and if I did, maybe things go more in my favor. But I've
Everything
had
happens
a
for a
good
reason.
career. Yeah, I've really enjoyed my journey so far, and I'm grateful for where I'm at. So yeah, I'm happy.
And we're gonna wish you the best of luck on the rest of this season. But
yeah, thank you guys.
Before we go, we're gonna do this shot clock segment.
Okay.
Rapid fire questions.
Oh man.
So you could say pass.
Okay.
They're gonna come quick.
Okay.
Do you want to start or me?
I'll start.
All right, ready?
Okay.
3,
Yeah.
2, 1, go.
Favorite Hebrew word.
I don't even know if I can say it here.
All right.
Pass.
Sport you would play other than basketball.
Soccer.
Night out or night in?
Night in.
Warm-up song.
Rolling in the Deep, Adele.
Mountains or beaches.
Beaches.
Coffee or tea.
Coffee for sure.
Favorite place you've played?
Tel Aviv.
Weightlifting or cardio?
Herzliya. Weightlifting for sure.
Home or away games.
Home.
Favorite basketball team.
Lakers.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. Here we go.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Nah, thank you guys. I
Lakers.
had a blast.
You like that's good.
Also, Dodgers for the win.
Oh, for
Oh.
sure.
Dodgers for the win.
Yeah, that was huge.
That was probably one of the best World Series in a long time.
Yeah, that was honestly sick. The
Were
fact
you-
that
were you staying
Yamamoto
up?
came in, not really. Like, I'm not staying up for 18 innings. Like,
But you can watch the you can watch the 40
That was
minute
out of the
highlights.
morning. Yeah.
I think I went to the gym in the morning and the game was still going on.
Yeah. No, that was
crazy.
insane. I like caught usually in the morning. I check the highlights and watch them on the
40-minute highlights?
Yeah, it was insane. But just seeing like all my friends back home, like after they won, all going out and partying. Like LA's like having a blast right now. Honestly, the fact that Yamamoto came back in the
That's why you got MVP.
Yeah, that was super good. I love that guy.
Yeah. So there's a little baseball for you basketball fans.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's Max Heidegger.
Yeah, thank
Bnei
you guys.
Herzliya. We really appreciate you coming in. And best of luck this
course.
season.
Thanks,
you.
guys. I
Let's
appreciate
go. Come on.
That was incredible.
it. Yeah, no,
That was
thank
really
you guys. I was gonna say Sharmuta for the word.
I was
Arabic,
thinking it was
but-
something.
It's still recording. There you go.
All the two things.